Welcome back, everybody. You probably have heard by now there is an ongoing political scandal playing out in Virginia involving the Democrat Attorney General candidate, Jade Jones. And he said, among other things that were revealed in text messages, that if there was a room with three people in it, including Hitler, Pol Pot, and former Virginia Republican House Speaker Todd Gilbert, and he only had two bullets, Todd Gilbert would get both of those bullets. He also sent a text admitting to hoping that Gilbert's children would die, explaining that, quote, only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy. So some really unfortunate comments by him that have been revealed. He is debating, actually, current Virginia Attorney General Jason Miyares right now as we speak. So we're going to talk about that and much more. Joining us now to talk about this is Virginia Congressman Ben Cline. Congressman, thanks so much for being with us.
Amanda, great to be with you.
Sir, were you surprised at how many Democrats in Virginia, but across the country, who wouldn't denounce what Jay Jones said?
Yes, I was very disappointed. You know, we talk a lot about the Virginia way being a bipartisan way where people work together to solve problems, but none of that was evident. The Virginia way is as dead as a doornail when you're talking about Jay Jones wishing for the killing of the former speaker and his children. Former speaker Todd Gilbert, is a constituent of mine in the Shenandoah Valley and a friend, and we served together in the Virginia House. And so for someone to use language that really is as disturbing and as violent, and for that rhetoric to not be condemned in the form of asking him to get off the ticket by Abigail Spanberger, you know, that speaks to her character as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's an extraordinary moment. All of these Democrats who tried to pretend that they're centrist, but now they're actually showing their true colors, Spanberger among them. The idea that Democrats have become too extreme for America. You had last night in the town hall AOC unwilling to say whether she would allow or preferred that illegal aliens get health benefits. She just kind of was moot on the issue. Spanberger can't denounce Jay Jones for stuff that we all know is not the right thing to say. Is the Democratic Party trapped by a small portion and just unable to get out of this extremist sort of rut they're in?
Absolutely. It is. The Democrat Party is under the control of the left wing, and they are increasingly moving into radical territory. You just need to look at the New York mayor's race to see just how radical when you have a Democratic socialist really poised to win the mayor's race in New York City. That's disturbing, and members of the Democratic Party are actually endorsing him. Some have resisted, but you know, when you resist endorsing the Mandani for mayor of New York, but you still will embrace an attorney general candidate in Virginia who wishes death on his adversaries, that's just unhinged. So it's very disappointing and not surprising for those of us who have been working in Washington here, trying to get this shutdown resolved. We see Democrats consistently taking radical positions.
Well, and Congressman, speaking of that hostage situation, because I know a number of Republicans have referred to this shutdown as a hostage situation. This weekend, you have this No Kings rally, these rallies that are taking place across the country. And there are a number of elected Democrats who are speaking at these rallies. Of course, they are attending these rallies. Plenty of photo ops. I'm sure they're going to be fundraising off of it. So that tells me that there is no chance that this shutdown is going to end, obviously, before this weekend. But is there a chance that after this weekend, after they've had their chance to, you know, rally the troops in these cities across the country, maybe next week they will come to the table?
You know, I would hope, and I'm an optimist, and I'm a positive thinker. But when you're dealing with Democrats, all too often that hope is dashed on the rocks of radical partisanship. And so you're going to hear them go call for continued fighting against Republicans this Saturday. You're going to hear them all clamor to the crowds about how they're standing up to Republicans when all we want to do is reopen the government under the same same funding levels that it's been operating under. We've got 52 out of 53 Republicans in the Senate voting to reopen the government. Democrats have 3 out of 47 arguing for reopening the government. So it's clear who this shutdown rests with. And for them to pivot and all of a sudden ignore the crowds that they've whipped up into a frenzy, saying we're going to stand up against Republicans, and turn around and say we're going to cooperate with the Republicans. I don't see that happening immediately. I would hope, though, that some cooler heads in the Senate prevail, that we can find 5. I don't know that there are 5 cooler heads more that will vote to reopen the government, but I do fear that these impacts on families, on working families across America, are real from this shutdown, and we need to end it. And I hope Democrats recognize that.
Sir, before we let you go, a couple big developments today. For the first time, an Antifa cell is indicted in Texas. Democrats were telling us, as did Chris Wray at one point, that Antifa isn't really a group. Well, there's apparently a cell in Texas that just got indicted by grand jurors. Your thoughts on some of the denialism that the media and the Democrats have had about Antifa and anarchist groups and the danger they pose on our own soil?
Yeah, there's no group called Antifa. There's no leadership of Antifa, but they sure have swag, and they have hats, and they have T-shirts, and they have banners. So yes, there's an organization there, and for the press to ignore it is for them to fail to do their jobs, which is to investigate, which is to find out the facts. And the fact is that these violent activists are being coordinated. They are being messaged, encouraged, and supported financially. I've joined Chip Roy and others in writing to our leadership asking that we set up a special select subcommittee to study where the money is coming from for this, where the support is coming from for these violent leftists, because there is some organization here, and the American public deserves answers. They deserve to live in safe cities. They deserve to live in safe communities and not be hounded or attacked by violent leftists.
Absolutely. Virginia Congressman Ben Cline, it's always an honor to have you here, sir. Hope to get you back on again very soon.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. All right, everybody, we've got to take a quick break, but we have a lot more for you on the other side of these messages.